Guys, Fortnite needs to have more of these mini seasons. Now, this is something I've wanted to talk about for a while that they've seemed to be leaning more into, and I think it's an absolute W overall with these mini seasons. Galactic Battle is the third one we've seen so far, and honestly, I really think that Epic should start doing a lot more of these, maybe even more than 2 every single chapter. They figured out a way to drop a massive amount of content in a compact format, and it's working overall, and I have enjoyed this more than any of the other ones so far. So what exactly makes these Fortnite mini seasons different from the longer ones, outside of them being not, 2 to 3 months long and only being a month to a little bit over a month long? Of course, this is Fortnite's third mini season in total, the others being a Fortnite OG in chapter 4, as well as a Fortnite remix after chapter 5, but this is the first mini season that isn't actually nostalgia based. Galactic Battle isn't about going back to a previous chapter or a theme, and that's what makes it stand out as the first totally unique mini season that we've ever had in Fortnite. Now, of course, a lot of the stuff that we do have in the game for Galactic Battle right now kind of does feel recycled because we've already had a lot of Star Wars content in the game, but overall, I still think that it feels very, very unique overall, especially in comparison to the stuff that we already have. Overall, these Fortnite mini seasons are short, they're fast paced, but they still give you a battle pass, new quests, new mythics, and a story, and even events, so it's not just a side mode, it feels like a full experience. Additionally, you guys, they've actually officially stated calling this season Mini Season 1 in game, which basically confirms that they're now in their own category as a completely different thing from actual seasons inside of chapters, which also hints towards us having more later on, which we will talk about later on in the video. Now, these mini seasons are absolutely perfect for collabs, and this is something I've talked about a lot, guys. I made a whole video talking about how I wanted Fortnite to incorporate collabs in a different way outside of them just being in the item shop, and mini seasons are absolutely perfect for this. It's looking like so far that mini seasons are going to be where Epic actually puts in the massive collabs from now on. Instead of making us sit through a 2 to 3 month long season tied to one IP like they've done with Marvel twice now, they can pack all of that content into a 30-day window and then move on. It lets them go all in with this, the whole loophole, the map, the gameplay, and even the UI at some points can reflect the collab without needing to commit to it for a whole 3-month season. Like I've said before, this keeps people who don't like it interested in the game and being like, okay, well, it's only a month. And then people who love it are going to love it even more because all of this content is packed into a single month and it makes it just that much more fun. Additionally, you guys, it just keeps the main seasons more flexible. Now, they don't have to have them themed around crossovers. Just bring one in once a month and they don't have to figure out, a whole 3-month long timeline for all of these different collabs. I think it just would make it a lot easier on Fortnite. Now, like I said, you guys, this format works so well because you get a ton of content in such a short amount of time. The game feels like it's constantly evolving with new items, POIs, mythics. Every single week, we're getting a brand new update, especially with Galactic Battle. They laid out everything that was going to happen throughout the course of this 35-day season, and the updates have already started rolling out, and I feel like this season just released. There's no filler weeks, there's no dead zones like sometimes we get in full seasons. Every update actually feels worth getting on the game for and seeing what they've added. Last season, it felt like after we got the big mid-season updates, it really did not feel worth it to play the game because it just felt kind of boring overall. And another thing, guys, I just want to put this in here, is that Fortnite has actually started asking people what they feel the ideal length for Fortnite seasons is. So Fortnite is definitely playing around with, how long they want their actual seasons to be in addition to these mini seasons. I think that is something to keep an eye on. Now, past mini seasons in Fortnite were absolutely hits. If you look at the past 2 that we've had, OG Fortnite and Fortnite Remix, those were some of the most popular times Fortnite has had, in total. They felt fast, they were fun, they were full of content, and most importantly, they felt like it was worth it to get on the game for. Now, one of those things is because, especially with OG, that was probably the most popular time in Fortnite history because we were going back to the Chapter 1 map for the first time. A lot of people were just playing the game mostly because it was oh, we only have this for a month, I need to take advantage of this. But there's no doubt that OG brought back a massive player spike, and Remix gave casual players something easy to jump into, something that the newer players could relate to as well, because I feel like a lot of people started in Chapter 2. People absolutely love these seasons because they can grind a smaller battle pass without burning out like they do sometimes in longer seasons. Now, another thing too is that every mini season so far has ended in a live narrative event, which is what Fortnite is calling, the big events nowadays. OG had one, Chapter 2 Remix had one, and Galactic Battle is setting up one right now with the Death Star. Now, these make them feel like real seasons and not just filler content. They actually have something like worth it happening at the end of the game. Like, they have implications at the end of the season. Epic is treating them with full story arcs, proper build-up, and they're not just half efforts. They feel like legit chapters within the Fortnite storyline. And this is something I feel that people are starting to kind of expect from this format now, which means the pressure's on to keep delivering, especially with the new mini seasons that might be coming later on. I'm not sure if Fortnite is going to continue doing that, but we will just have to wait and see. Now, like I said, Galactic Battle is labeled as Mini Season 1, which means Fortnite is clearly planning more. Now, if I had to guess, we'll probably get another one right after Chapter 6 Season 4 before we transition into Chapter 7. Now, this would give Epic time to do one final, themed burst of content before a full chapter reset like they've done before. We saw reenactments of, the end event, and we also got a crazy concert at the end of Chapter 2 Remix. So, there's no doubt in my mind that these events are going to be awesome overall. Now, if you guys haven't been keeping track with what's going on in Fortnite or haven't watched my recent video, that's in the top right of your screen here if you want to watch it. There have been a ton of leaks coming out recently, and one of these leaks say that the next mini season could be themed around The Simpsons, which has a lot of people very, very confused. And I want to be clear here, you guys, this is not confirmed whatsoever, but it's a good example of how Fortnite can fully commit to a big collab, make the whole season themed around it, rather than just putting skins in the shop. Now, I feel like this would have been a great thing to do. These mini seasons would have been great for a season like Avatar or something like that, instead of just doing a small battle pass. That would have been amazing. Of course, The Simpsons is a little bit confusing, a little bit goofy, and this obviously isn't the kind of IP that would fit in a battle pass normally, but it could be really fun and interesting as a short packed experience, and I'm willing to see what they end up doing with it. I think I'm willing to give it a chance. Now, to me, overall, you guys, these mini seasons are one of the smartest things that Fortnite's added lately. They give us a break from these long 2 to 3 month seasons, and they let Epic try out creative ideas and give bigger collabs room to breathe and actually give Fortnite a chance to capitalize off of these big collabs at once. They also give Fortnite little chapters within chapters, if that makes any more sense, which makes the overall storyline feel more layered and dense overall. I really hope that Fortnite continues doing these and even expand upon the mini season. One every season or two, maybe even more, would be absolutely perfect. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Do you like these mini seasons, or do you prefer full seasons only? Let me know. Drop a like on today's video. You watched all the way to the end. You must have enjoyed, so drop a like. Subscribe to the channel. I make videos like these every single day. Use code PROZEROYT in the Fortnite item shop to help support me even further, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.